Yo guys, my name's GhostX and today I've got another Battlefield Apocalypse full game idea video based on the video I did for my full reveal of this game idea. Remember, these are all ideas guys when it says idea in capitals in the title, and this video will be detailing the default weapons in this fictional game. Starting with the United States faction, which are the sort of good guy faction in this game. And their default assault rifle unlocked at the start of this idea game is the CM901, which is a cult variant of the M16A4 in use with the United States Marine Corps and US Armed Forces at the moment, basically replacing that as a standard issue rifle in this game. The default carbine, which will be replacing the M4A1, will be the SA58OSW, basically a paratrooper variant of the famous Belgium FN-FAL, also known as the FAL, which is exported to many countries, and there's lots of different variants of that weapon. The default personal defense weapon, also known as PDW, in this game is the Honey Badger, which is a very popular, especially with special forces. PDW is also very new. It has an integrated suppressor, which makes it very useful for stealth and covert operations, essentially a modification of the M4 platform into a stealth role. The default designated marksman rifle, or DMR, in this game is actually a civilian rifle called the SCAR 17S. This is a variant of the Belgian FN SCAR family of assault rifles that's limited to semi-automatic fire only as a DMR. Basically, this has been nicked from civilians' bodies, as these are survivors. The default LMG, or light machine gun, featured in this game for the US side is the Mark 48 SAW, which is the most modern and heavily modified version of the squad automatic weapon, or SAW, yet. It has been featured in many games, especially the Modern Warfare series of Call of Duty. The default shotgun is actually an automatic shotgun for both sides, and for the US it's the M1216, which is a very modern shotgun. This is the short barreled CQC variant. It has a rotating helical style cylindrical magazine with 4 rounds in each tube that has to be turned with each reload. The default sniper rifle is a bolt action sniper rifle, and it is the MSR, which is Remington's newest modular sniper rifle. That's what MSR stands for, and this is the tan variant, a very nice looking assault rifle with the longer barrel as opposed to the shorter barreled variant of this weapon. It also does come with the default scope. The default handgun is a semi-automatic handgun, gas powered as you would imagine. This is the Deagle 50. You've seen the Deagle 44 in Dragon's Teeth, which is the gameplay in the background, but this is the 50 caliber Action Express variant that everyone knows and loves. It creates that big fire sonic boom when you fire it with massive kick. Now the Illuminati side, the enemy side in the game, commonly abbreviated to IL, their default assault rifle is actually the Peruvian FAD, also known as the FAD. This basically means double assault rifle in Spanish, and that's because it has a grenade launcher built into it, and the angle that's slightly tilted to the side for faster reloads. A bullpup assault rifle it is, with a very high rate of fire, similar to the FAMAS, but Peruvian. Their default carbine for the Illuminati side is the Galil MAR, or MAR. This is one of the most popular variants of the Galil with Israeli Special Forces and a few other Special Forces. It is the carbine shorter variant, mainly for covert operations and that kind of thing. The default PDW, or personal defense weapon, for the Illuminati side is the MP9, formerly known as the TMP before it was bought by Bridget and Thomas, also known as B&T. This is a very popular weapon. It's basically a machine pistol with a high rate of fire, and it's very similar to the Uzi in operation. The default designated marksman rifle, or DMR, basically limited to semi-automatic as you would imagine, is the SVU-AS, a variant of the SVU Dragunov, the most modern variant of this, with a very cool muzzle brake on the end of it that helps with longer range accuracy and power, as opposed to the older normal SVU variant. Their default LMG, or light machine gun, is the AUG H-bar, which is the heavy barreled variant of the AUG for infantry automatic rifle suppressing role. It does fit that very nicely because it's bullpup, and it does have an elongated magazine as well, as opposed to the normal magazine on the AUG. Their default shotgun also can rival the US's M1216. It is the AA12, another automatic shotgun that definitely does have the same kind of features, but it has a standard box mag instead of the rotating 4-tube magazine, the M1216. So bit of rivalry there between the two automatic shotguns, which might be better for your playstyle. The default sniper rifle for the IL side, or Illuminati, is the M99, which is actually a 50 caliber bolt action sniper rifle, but because it has such a large bolt, it'll have a longer loading time between each shot, which means it is balanced in a way, even though it's 50 caliber as opposed to the MSR's 7.62 NATO round. Much larger round, but much longer reload time between each shot. The default handgun is the FNP 45, which is a very quickly growing popular gun by FN Herzl. It's based around their popular line of Scar series in terms of looks, like with the tan and the silver kind of look. It is standard semi-automatic, similar to the M1911, firing the 45 ACP round. And yeah, so that is basically all of the weapons for both sides of Battlefield Apocalypse. Now, remember, this is a game idea, and all of the weapons you've just seen are completely ideas of what I'd like to see in a Battlefield game. And basically, I've set you the kind of setting in a previous video on Battlefield Apocalypse, so don't forget to check that out, because that details the setting and the story behind this game and my ideas for that. But in a basic overview, so you kind of get an idea of why the guns are used. Basically, there's these survivors of a mass event where the hackers are the Illuminati, and they've actually hacked drones, military drones that are so advanced, because this is set in the near future, and they use it to completely obliterate the US so that the Illuminati can rise to power. And what's unique about this game, in both the campaign and the multiplayer, is that you're not fighting against other military soldiers or operators or agents, anything like that. You're not fighting against criminals, so to speak, like you are in Hardline, or law enforcement operators. It's very different. You actually find against civilians who are basically working for the Illuminati. So civilians that have nicked high-tech military gear, have hacked drones, and they have very high-tech equipment, but they're just civilians who believe in the Illuminati cause, and they just follow it. And your mission as soldiers and the remnants of the special forces is basically to take out the Illuminati and survive by all means necessary. It's more of a survival kind of ethic on it, and more stealth than previous Battlefield games, and that's the idea for Battlefield Apocalypse, basically, and where the name comes into it, where everything is basically decimated and there's just the survivors left, both civilian, military and law enforcement, that are trying to survive and fight off the Illuminati. So that's where these guns come into play. The other kind of weapons I'd expect to see in a game like this, kind of export weapons. You know, anything they can find and use against the enemy is a weapon. So these aren't the most high-tech of weapons, but they are definitely very modern to fit the near future timeline, and quite relatively easy to get hold of as far as weapons go. So that's basically the idea behind the weapons I've just mentioned to you. Both sides, as you know, the United States and the Illuminati, the two sides, both in the campaign and multiplayer. The United States are basically all the remnants of the special forces and armed forces, civilians and law enforcement, put into one group, which makes for heavy character customization in multiplayer, because you can be any of that, what I just mentioned. You know, customize your characters, look law enforcement, or look military, or even look civilian if you wanted to. Which I think is really cool. It adds a deep layer of customization that hasn't been seen in previous Battlefield games. And then you've got the enemy team, which are the Illuminati, which is exactly the same thing. Civilians, law enforcement, and military operators have all turned rogue. So yeah, that's my idea for Battlefield Apocalypse, guys, and I will see you on my next video. GhostX out.